everybody.
Hi, everybody.
James and Jeanne Bellew here with...
Once again, with Duffels and Dogs.
Yay. So we have a special video today. We're going to be interviewing some
Another couple.
Another couple who, another immigrant couple. Right?
Yeah. Newbies.
Newbies. Absolutely. So, so thank you. Before we get there, I want to thank you guys for subscribing, and for any of you new folks that this is your first video, we encourage you to subscribe and hit the
bell icon so you can
subscribe
know when
and the
we
bell
have
icon.
Another video. We'll just keep talking over each other.
That's it. It's what we do. Yeah. Well,
we just had our 34th wedding anniversary, so it's what we do.
So join us for this next interview, and we'll be there in a few minutes. So enjoy.
As you can tell, everybody lives near us, so we use it as an opportunity to walk around the hood and go to our friends because everybody's in the neighborhood.
That's neighborhood.
It. Talk to you soon.
Pura vida. Thank you guys for doing this. We appreciate it.
No problem.
And I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. So, name, rank, and serial number kind of things.
Perfect.
And
Okay.
we'll start with that.
Yeah.
I am Kristin Coffee, and I'm 50. And that's it. We moved down here 2 years ago almost,
Yep.
and this is my husband Ronnie.
And I am Ronnie Lee, and I am 51. And yeah, we've been in Costa Rica for almost 2 years
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And we love it still.
Yes.
Now, you've been down here for 2 years, but you've only been here for
About a year.
Yes.
in this house.
In
right?
this
Oh, in this
house,
house,
only
yeah.
since the end of May,
Right.
early June. What we did is when we first moved down here, we moved to the Lake Arnall, which is a beautiful spot. We did move in December of 2020, so it was not a good time. It was during COVID, and it was so slow. So the lake was not a perfect
Muy
fit for us.
tranquilo.
So we ended up moving out to the beaches in that August, so August of 21.
Yep.
And then we bought a house pretty much within 2 minutes. And
Which
we're now
watched
sitting
it,
in.
watched
Which we're now
it
sitting in.
be built,
Yep.
and bounced around and lived in 4 or 5 different
Different areas,
places
yeah.
during that time.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a great way to see the surrounding areas because each playa is completely different than the other one. So Tamarind is the party spot, Playa Grande is the surf and cool spot, Playa Rosalito is the undeveloped spot, Flamingo is the luxury beach, and Potrero is the gringo, cool,
Yeah.
up and coming.
That's why we're all here,
'Cause
right?
that's- yeah.
All the cool people.
All
Yeah,
the cool
exactly.
Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit. So 2 years or thereabouts.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your story. How did you get here?
What happened was this delightful thing called COVID hit, and we had an event company that we owned for almost 20 years.
Almost, yeah.
So we did that in the Tampa Bay area, where our main or only income was corporations bringing their companies down to Florida, staying at beautiful hotels, and we would put on all of the pomp and the fun bands and the lighting and the
Decor.
activities and the decor.
Yeah.
So we didn't make one dime
During COVID. Yeah.
during COVID. So we just kind of had to say, what are we going to do? We had to lay everybody off, which was a mess.
Yep.
And then we were like, we need to get out of here. And then just seeing the way that the country
Was being
handled things.
Handled it, yeah. And the division of the country.
Yeah.
It
was just sad for us.
Sad,
So
yeah.
we had always
we
looked.
ran away.
I know we did.
Yeah.
We always looked at coming down to Central America. We love Mexico. We love Costa Rica. We love Colombia. We were going to Panama, but Costa Rica was the first one that opened up. And poor Ronnie was married to a psycho, and I was like, we are getting out of here right now. We're selling everything. So we didn't really think a lot.
But we were so disfranchised with what was happening and what had happened that we felt like if we were going to do this, we needed to do it right now because the market was high, so we knew we'd make some pretty good money on the real estate that we owned. Our son was 12 at the time, so we knew if we didn't make the move now, it would be almost impossible to get him out of the States because of friends and high school and such. And we were so, we had lost everything. So our business of 19 years, our employees, we even had a little music venue next to the warehouse. All that was kind of just ripped away from us. So we were like, do we rebuild or do we sell everything and run away? And the runaway sounded so much more appealing.
Yeah.
It was
You know?
bumpy, but it's definitely so much better.
Well, growing is never comfortable. So we knew that we were in for some growing pains, and we didn't know what, when you get past the vacation mindset of a country, you go visit a place, it's beautiful, you're on vacation eyes. But after about 6-7 months, when the monkeys aren't charming anymore as much as they were,
They kind of
and you're like, shut up, you tree rooster! Like, why are you like up there making so much noise? So when those eyes start setting in, and you're like, well, how am I going to handle that? How am I going to digest that? And you don't know. You have no clue. You
Yeah.
just got to make the move and do it. And we've been pleasantly surprised that we still love this
Oh, yeah.
area more, actually, than we did when we first stepped foot on it.
Totally.
Almost 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's
Yeah.
a great move, and we are very happy to be here.
That is a great story. See, there you go.
See? There you go. Everybody can do
everybody
it.
that gets here, it's got, we got here slightly
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
way.
And I feel that we ran away, but we really didn't. And that, looking
No.
back, I'm like, no, we did it. We followed what we thought that we needed to do and what we had to do.
And it forced us to do it earlier than we were already thinking.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of people would say, I need to move away from this mess. And that is okay. I mean, if that's your situation, but you really got to realize that if you don't know where you're going to, there could be bigger problems there than what you're running away from. So you gotta really think it through, and we didn't, but we felt it, and
Yeah.
we've always
Yeah.
been good about feeling and just going with those feelings. And I know everybody doesn't have that, but we've ran our life that way, and it works for us.
So the difference of the distinction between running away from something and running towards something.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
good.
Yep,
I
yep.
just didn't know what I was running towards. We had only visited Costa Rica once before, and it was Jaco that we went to.
Fun.
So yeah, it was fun. Anyway, so when we came back to Costa Rica, we didn't really know the whole other part of the country.
Right.
We had read a lot about different things, and in the past, I would say 10 years, Costa Rica used to be on the top of every list. Now it's back, but when we were reading about it, it wasn't on the list
yeah.
because it was more expensive than every other country down here. It wasn't the great deal that sometimes people from the United States want. I think that the reason why I don't mind paying a little bit extra for some stuff, the safety, the people, what you can get here, as well as,
The quality
would
of
you
life.
ever feel bad walking down the street here?
No.
Never. I feel so much safer here.
Yeah.
Every experience that we've had with any doctors has been top of the line.
Sure.
I have a great doctor in St. Pete, but the doctors here I've been so impressed with, the dental care, and everything is like a smidgen of what it would
Right.
cost.
And when-
An x-ray, anything is so much less.
And when people say it's expensive here, they're comparing it to what it was.
Sure.
And so when someone says, is it expensive? I was like, well, is it expensive to you? Like I'm saying, like if you live in California and you move here, you'd probably think this is a good deal. But if you're moving from, say, the rural South, well, this is going to be more. So you really can you afford to live here
Yeah.
based on what you have to spend? It's really the question you should be asking yourself.
And-
Not is it expensive? That's too much of a blanket statement.
Yeah.
And there are pros and cons here.
Sure.
I mean, just like the States, I think what we figured out is like, do we like the pros and cons that is Costa Rica better than the pros and cons that is the States or is Canada or wherever you're coming from? And I think you need to ask yourself those questions because that really is the truth of it all. I mean, there's problems here. There's home invasions, stuff like that. But overall, I feel that this is a lot safer area to raise our 14-year-old.
Yep.
Because I mean, so the way I look at it with him is like, there's trouble here to be found. You have to go find it. Whereas in the States, I think that you have to like run away from the trouble. You're like, no, I don't want it. It's finding you. So I think overall, that's what I find appealing.
Yeah.
Still, is that
And the money thing, like as I said, we did not think it through. But it always works out for us. We are very lucky in a lot of ways. We sold our house, moved down here, can live for 6 years on that, no problem. Then we sold our venue and our warehouse. We were able to build a house. You know, you I don't know if you want me to say this. You pay or you buy your house in cash, the full amount, which was great. So we were able to do that. We were able to buy a car. We were able to buy another car.
Yep.
We were able to, you know,
Pay off all of our bills.
Pay
in the
off
States,
everything.
So we were lucky that way.
and
you
we
know.
also have investments. So we're not in a situation that we are spastic and have to get to work right now. We're okay. I'm gonna tell Fortune.
But you've got to do
probably.
something with these idle
I know.
hands.
Oh, I know.
Because you
That's
will-
You're
the
getting in the radio
problem.
business, and you can tell.
I
Right,
volunteer
yeah. And she
and I
volunteers,
teach
yeah.
little kids. They don't pay me anything.
No, but-
I teach little kids English and art stuff, and it's perfect, and I love it.
And that's the psychology of retiring early, is that if you know, we were talking about this before we turned the camera on, is like, you come here and a lot of people wait to feel they have this magical retirement number, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, whatever they have. And you're like, okay, well, that's fine, but if you wait till you're 60 or 65 to do this big change, one, you might be too old to live here that way, you know, I mean, or you might get disabled, or you might not live to make it that point. So if you're thinking about doing it, my best advice, if you're thinking about moving to another country, just do it. It's never going to be the perfect time. It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be a roller coaster, and not a fun roller coaster. It's going to be one that's like, I think it might fall apart. Just stay on that roller coaster until you let it settle in and let it digest, and then there's plenty of ways to make money here. I mean, it's usually online, but there's a lot of ways to really cover. And once you pay for the house and pay for the cars,
Then your bills are like
then the bills are
not
pretty
even
minimal.
$1,000 a month. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like, it's not. It's maybe like $500 a month. It's so much less than what we
Yeah.
paid in the States
Yeah.
for our, you know.
Forever, just
And
to
I'm
live.
saving money from Amazon and from Target. Every day, I have saved $280
Yeah.
from just shopping.
But we do, when people
I'm
do
making
visit,
that a
when
day.
people visit, there's an extra suitcase with them of things that you have ordered.
Okay, but that's still not a lot. It's still not that much stuff.
That's $280 in a suitcase, not every day.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. I'm saving so much money.
So much money.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Compulsive shopping can be.
Yes, yes.
Yes, 100%.
One other thing that I love is that I am a Cancer, and I love to be in my little nest and have my stuff all together. But this has kicked my butt, and we have to get out. We've got to travel. We've got to see things. So I never would have thought that I would go to Nicaragua. Let's go to Nicaragua this weekend. That'll be
Yeah.
great. A couple weeks, we're going to Mexico City. We just okay, it just kind of says, we've got to get out. We've got to see the world. There's so much
to s-
more
yeah.
than what we know in Florida
Yeah.
or DC or
And we're lucky because
Georgia.
we have more time, you know.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, you go through this thing that you've been told you're supposed to do. It's like, you know, that whole reality of work, you know, work, play, eat, sleep, repeat, right? And there's more to life than that. But when you're doing that, you get so caught up in it, and then you're like, and every day's a grind, and then that day turns into a week, that week turns into a month, that month turns into a year. Next thing you know, it's been 5 years of doing that grind, and you're exhausted. And you don't realize you're exhausted until you come to a place like this where the pace is
You have to slow
slow.
down.
You have to slow down. And in our situation, we're lucky because we're not like being pulled away to work every day. So we can go like more time with our kid, more time with each other, more time to travel, more time to go see the sunset, you know, more time to get drunk. Which is,
That is
a
a
problem.
problem. Yeah, that's-
So you have to fill up your time with something other than recreation. Life's about balance, right?
I'm going to start a soccer team.
Yeah, yeah.
No, not at all.
So like last night we went to lunch and we didn't leave the place
Until
10
9,
p.m.
yeah, that was a
9 o'clock.
problem.
And we're like, so today I'm like, we gotta do something to counteract that, you know. So
Yeah.
whether it be creative for your mind, whether it be some exercise, whether it be taking a walk to the beach, whatever. But we have time to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, to me, that is the most brilliant thing that I could have done for myself in my beginning of my 50s because you know, as we all know, you get 50, you're like, well, why is my elbow hurt? I didn't hit it. I just wake up with a sore elbow. I don't understand this.
That is a problem. That's another thing. I do think that the food here, there's so much less chemicals in it, so much less preservatives. You look at the same bag of Doritos from the States and the same bag of Doritos here, it's half of the stuff. So even if you're eating just junk, you're still eating
better
healthier.
junk.
It is healthier.
Healthier junk.
There's no Diet Coke down here, so I have to drink water. So that's cool.
And
I
no
think
Mick Ultra.
I know that.
Getting over that was a hurdle.
The what?
The Mick
No Mick
Ultra.
Ultra. I was like, where's that slim can I always loved, and it's not here.
So-
you know, but the
If
beer
the
here
food is
good, though.
better
Yeah.
for you, that the lifestyle is more healthy. We walk everywhere. Like you guys live right around the corner and you walk. Tonight
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to dinner and I'm walking, and you just are outside and enjoying things. So I
Yeah.
do think it's a much healthier way of living.
Just oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh no, I was just going to ask you about being parents and having Kevin. How's he doing, and how's that transition been for all the people out here listening that
It's-
is?
That's a great
That's a great
one.
question, yeah. Go
He
ahead, yeah.
has been amazing. At first,
Well,
he
I
was,
happen to know Kevin, and he is amazing. But go on.
he has, when we first moved him, it was hard. But COVID was a blessing with that because all the kids had only interacted with each other online. So he has friends that are all over the United States now because people have moved, people have changed.
Schools
He's
have
met
changed.
kids from online. So he has his online friends, and then he also has made friends here. But Kevin, at first, you know, it was
He
really
did- yeah.
hard. It was really hard.
He didn't want
It
to leave his
was.
online friends.
Sure.
And we're like, you've got to go out. And you know, and you know, when we were on the lake, there's not as
There
many
was not very
international
many
schools, and there's not as many gringo population per se. So the kids that he was meeting couldn't speak English that well, and he didn't speak Spanish that well. So that made the interaction very difficult, which was a huge hurdle. So he wanted to resort back to what was comfortable, which was being in his room online. And we knew as parents, yeah, that's great because he's getting an interaction, but he has to be outside. He has to have this balance I was talking about. So moving here was a blessing because there's a lot more population
of kids.
kids, and not just from the States, from Canada, from Germany, from all over the world.
Oh,
So
yeah, it's
I
so
mean,
cool.
I love to have his friends come over for a sleepover, and there's
One guy from Israel, one from
yes.
Germany, two from Canada.
Yeah.
You know, one
And-
little girl from Korea.
Yes.
You know, you're just like, wow,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
And that's an education that he can't learn in the States.
No.
So to me, you know, like just the experience of him living here and living in another culture, you pick up so much more subconsciously than you don't even realize until you're talking to someone who isn't cultured, and you're like, no, this isn't an island, it's Central America. So
I get those.
I know that does. Don't you love the food in Mexico? And I'm like, it's not Mexican.
Mexico.
Or, how can you live on an island? in
I know,
Mexico?
but I don't know.
Yeah.
But one thing about what was I going to say about Kevin? Oh shoot.
Shoot.
Oh shit! What were you going to say?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
No.
That's okay. If it comes back.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be all over
So
it.
Yeah.
then I think.
Oh.
Oh, did you think of it?
Yes, the
So it happens when you're over 50.
wow, shut it.
Oh,
Shut
we're
your
filming
mouth.
a video.
I know.
So what are you gonna?
No, I was going to say. So I think we've gotten pros for sure. Any specific cons? You want to make sure people.
I do. I
know?
have
So-
some.
I remember mine.
Oh yeah, go
Okay,
ahead. And
go.
I'll do
Sorry.
and then I'll do the cons.
Sorry. Okay. I love it now when we do go back to the States. Kevin usually wants to come back to Costa Rica within a day. The only thing that he wants to go to see his friends, but then he's like, people are mean, people are yelling, people are too fast, people are driving crazy. You seem more stressed out, Mom and Dad. Like, he is like, when do we get to go back to
Right.
Costa Rica? So he
Yeah.
loves it. So that was
And that leads me to actual one of the cons is that even though it is very calm here, and it is, in some situations, it's too calm. So like, you know, banking is an example. Like, I just need to get money out of the bank. Why is it so difficult? Or like, police. You know,
And
it's
your money.
It's
Not
my
just,
yeah.
it's
And
my
like
money.
the police. You know, it's like there's police. I don't hear a siren every day. So the noise pollution that's in my ear in the States is, but the response time is way slower than it is in the States. So So you're kind of on your own here, you know, and there's help, but it's not the same quickness that you're used to having in the States. So that's I think a major con, but I'll take it because
But everybody would help you. Like,
But there's
if there's anything happening in the neighborhood or on the street, or if your car gets stuck in a river, 48 people are going to be there in a second and a half.
They don't know you.
And jump out and push your car.
Yep.
Or the other day, we got on our phone that there was a break-in. There was 8 of us sitting at a dinner table. 4 of the guys just leave to go save the day, and you're like, okay, bye. And they
And I was one
got
of
the
them.
perk.
And I was like, I can't fight. What am I going to do?
did it yesterday.
I'm going to call
The other
timeout.
day,
I mean, like, hey,
yes.
timeout, man. You shouldn't be doing that. Like, what am I going to do?
So
But
the-
I went, you know.
The people, the community sense,
Yeah.
I feel so much more
much,
here,
yeah.
and that we didn't have in the States. I mean, I loved our friends. We had a great group, but here you really have a community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No matter where we've gone.
Right, exactly. And
You know.
and there aren't really a lot of cons.
Yeah.
I mean, people can complain about the roads, and I'm like, I knew that. I mean, I compare it to growing up in South Georgia in the '70s. There's dirt roads and there's old vehicles. There's pickup trucks. There's random cows. There's a horse in my front yard. Whose horse is it? I don't know. But I find that nostalgically charming, and I like that. Now, if you don't like that, and you like manicured roads, and you like manicured hedges, and you want some curb appeal, this probably isn't going to be good for you.
No.
So that's it. Come do a site inspection. If you're going to move away and go to another country, you got to visit it a couple of times,
Yeah.
3 or 4 times, and really try to see past, vacation eyes. And so I don't know. I can't think of a lot of cons. I really can't.
No.
You know.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going. So if you had to, like, I know you touched on a lot of the points, but if you had to summarize for everybody, like, okay, what would you tell people? I mean, if you had to just sum it up into
I can do it in one sentence.
one of those.
Leave your home country behind you. Don't
That's
try to bring it here.
Yep.
Leave it behind and see it for what it is. And if you like what it is, then you made the right decision. If you don't be afraid to put your tail between your legs and go back.
Right.
Nothing's keeping you here. Nothing's forcing you to stay.
One
you know?
thing, one thing that I like to hear and say is that as from the United States or Canada, we are trained to work till 65, and then you get to enjoy your time with your friends and relax. The people that live here in Costa Rica are enjoying their time with their friends and family and relaxing already. They start when they're like 2, and they do it their whole life. And yes, they might not have 2 cars, and they might not even have a car. They might not have an iPhone. They don't have a computer. They might not even have power, but they're happy. They take care of each other. The fact that they are so family oriented and friend oriented, I think it's so beautiful.
It is.
You can't buy that for $1 zillion.
It's a different interpretation of wealth. That's what we
Yeah.
say.
I
It's
think
true wealth.
so.
It's
Yeah,
true wealth.
it's so
Yeah.
much wealthier and
Yeah.
healthier.
Wealthier and healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been a great move, and
Yeah.
and I'm still amazed. Like I said, it's still so much to see and so much to do here, and I'm just now, learning Spanish is hard.
That's one thing.
Learning a new language at 50
It's
is harder than Chinese arithmetic. I mean, it is like, why is this so hard? But it's necessary.
difícil.
And even if you live you can live here without learning Spanish. You know, there's definitely a division between gringos and ticos, and they interact well here, I think. But you get so much more vastness and richness out of this country if you learn the native language, because then it opens up even more doors.
And enough to get by. I mean, you don't have to be.
Yeah, it can be broken Spanish, so.
Thank you guys very much.
Yes.
This is good stuff. And do you mind if we get a few B-roll shots that you're
Of course
Yes.
not.
That's the
where
fun
you
stuff.
where you guys like landed?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
The 5th or 6th place since you've been here?
Yes, this
Except
is our
this one's
favorite.
theirs.
But this one's
This is
yours.
our
This one's
favorite.
ours, yes.
Yes, we
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
We've had a lot of visitors, and we love this house. And
Yep.
Yep. Very good.
Yep.
Well,
Thank
thanks
you. Thank
again.
You.
Yeah,
No,
thank
thank you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, Pura Vida.
Pura
We forgot
Vida.
the Pura Vida.
Oh, what's that
Vida.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, we always wrap it up with a.
Oh,
Per vida.
Pura Vida.